back in 1992. While it did spark controversy, many praised the decision, including Stan Lee, who liked the idea of creating more positive role models for blacks and Latinos. While the Ultimate line was ended, Morales was incorporated into the regular Marvel Universe after the Secret Wars events of 2015, becoming a member of the Champion superhero team and even romancing Spider-Gwen. He is set to make his big screen debut on December 14, 2018 with the animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. In a controversial miniseries, Truth, Red, White, and Black of 2003 by Robert Morales and Kyle Baker, it delves into illegal Army experimentation on black recruits during World War II to try to recreate the super soldier serum that created Captain America. Taking inspiration from the real-life Tuskegee experiments in which black men in Alabama were given free health care under the guise to treat their syphilis, only so the effects of the disease could be observed over the long term. The series depicts a number of recruits dying in the process until only Isaiah Bradley remains. At one point, he steals a Captain America outfit and shield with the intention of destroying the super soldier efforts by the Nazis, only to be captured and brought to Hitler himself, who intends to dissect him to get his secrets of the super soldier formula. He later escapes back to America, only to be court-martialed and imprisoned in Leavenworth until he's pardoned by President Eisenhower. Bradley becomes a mythical character in the Marvel Universe, the Black Captain America, as he was, visited and admired by real-life figures like Malcolm X and Marvel's, and also fictional ones like Marvel's Black Panther. He even attended his wedding in the storm. Isaiah Bradley also had a nephew, Elijah Bradley, who becomes Patriot in Young Avengers, claiming to have superpowers but is in fact using MGH, mutant growth hormone. However, when he is critically injured on a mission, his uncle gives him a blood transfusion that leads to him getting superpowers. While in prison, his DNA was also extracted to try to recreate the super soldier serum, which led to Josiah X, who grew up to be a Muslim minister and taking on the monitor of Justice, who would then become a founding member of the Crew in 2003 by Christopher Priest and Joe Bennett, which also consisted of Jim Rhodes, White Tiger, Justice, of course, and Junta, who was a black Muslim. According to Priest, the group consisted of those who had lost families to street crime and set out to right the wrongs, though the series would be canceled after just 7 issues. Black Panther would later reform a new crew with Luke Cage, Misty Knight, Storm, and Manifold. Of course, it wasn't just superheroes that featured black characters in comic books, but real-life ones as well. 2 notable examples being the Harlem Hellfires by Max Brooks and Kenyon White on April 1st, 2014, and the March series by John Lewis, Andrew Aiken, and Nat Powell. Hellfires is about the famed all-black 369th Infantry that served in World War I, detailing both their heroics on the battlefield and the racial discrimination they faced in the Army. March is about the life of civil rights activist and current Congressman John Lewis, detailing his life and career. Both books received universal acclaim in awards, with March Book 2 winning the Eisner Award for Best Reality-Based Work in 2016. They are prime examples of comic book medium teaching history, even with thornier subjects. In film and TV, a major influence with the black characters was the casting of Eartha Kitt, noted singer and activist, in the later episodes of the Adam West Batman series as Catwoman. While Julie Newmar would set the standard for the role with her Amazonian performance of the character, Kitt added a sexual, purring nature to the performance that would later be imitated by Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns and Halle Berry in the infamous Catwoman movie. An original black superhero appeared on Fox in 1994 to 1995 in Mantis, which was launched with a TV movie in which the title character is crippled during the LA riots. Created by Sam Raimi and Sam Hamm, one of the writers of the Batman movie franchise, Miles Hawkins is a brilliant inventor who creates a suit that gives him the ability to walk, along with superhuman strength and other abilities, along with a helmet that looks like the head of a mantis, hence the name. While having a gritty appeal due to his origin, it would only last 1 season due to low ratings and veering in crazy directions. By the later episodes, he was traveling to the future and battling invisible dinosaurs. One of the most underrated black comic book characters is Spawn, created by Todd McFarlane in May of 1992, about a former special ops soldier, Al Simmons, who was killed and sent to hell for his sins. There he cuts a deal with the devil to return to his wife, but like most deals with such nature, Simmons returns to Earth, but 5 years later with no memory of his past and is now a hellspawn in the service of the demon Malbosia. Most significantly, Al's wife, Wanda, has moved on with his best friend, Terry Fitzgerald, who has married him and now have a daughter, Cyan. While the comic would make Simmons race the focus of the story, it did play a part from time to time. For example, in issue number 2, Simmons tries to use his powers to change his demon face back to his human one, but when he does, it gives him the face of a white, blonde-haired man, once again showing the Faustian levels of his bargain with Malbosia. Simmons keeps using his powers to change it back to his black face to no avail. Spawn would later get his own movie on August 1st, 1997, with Michael J. Watt playing Al Simmons / Spawn. However, race was only suggested, even in the more acclaimed HBO animated series, though it should be noted all the principal characters were black, except in the movie, where Terry was played by a white actor, D.B. Sweeney, along with also being more gruesome and violent than most comic book fare at the time. A current new Spawn revamp is currently in development. Black superhero films would bounce from parodies from Meteor Man, Blank Man, and even The Awful, such as previously mentioned Steel. Meteor Man was released on August 6, 1993 by noted filmmaker and actor Robert Townsend, whose highly acclaimed Hollywood Shuffle of 1997 remains one of the best satires of the black experience in Hollywood, and attempted to create a black Superman satire but fared poorly. Blank Land, released the following year on August 19th, also took the satirical route, with Damon Wayans playing a nerdy inventor that becomes a superhero to fight crime in his neighborhood, only to fail at the box office as well. However, a breakthrough for black superheroes and Marvel would be Blade on August 21st, 1998, starring Wesley Snipes as the title character, becoming the first bona fide hit for the genre in Marvel movies in general. Created by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan, back in the Tomb of Dracula, number 10, on July 1973, he was a half-vampire, half-man, later called a Daywalker, due to his mother being killed by a vampire, Deacon Frost, while she was giving birth to him. With his powers, he would later become a vampire hunter and a consistent character throughout the Marvel Universe, though he would never find full success on his own in comics. However, in films, his first movie ended up being a giant success, grossing $130 million worldwide on a $45 million budget. It helps he received solid support from Bush Wright, playing Dr. Karen Jensen, notably not just because she plays an ally and not just a love interest of Blade, but also a successful doctor who holds her own when the vampires come. The film's success led, of course, to a sequel, Blade 2, on March 22, 2002, from director Guillermo del Toro, and Blade Trinity on December 8, 2004, becoming Marvel's first successful film franchise as well. It even spawned a TV series for Spike TV, which ran in 2006, but only for 13 episodes, with Kirk Sticky Jones taking over the role. While Marvel now owns the rights to the character again, no immediate plans have been made to bring him into the MCU, though Wesley Snipes has mentioned he has had meetings with the company, possibly to involve Blade's daughter, Fallon Gray, who was revealed to be a part of the all-new Marvel in 2016, but the series was never released when its writer left for DC. An original and highly acclaimed superhero film came in Unbreakable on November 4th, 2000, with Samuel L. Jackson, who of course would go on to play Nick Fury in the MCU, as Mr. Glass, who was ultimately revealed to be the superhero villain of the picture. He is set to reprise his role in the upcoming sequel. Hancock also premiered on July 2nd, 2008, with Will Smith as the title character, playing a superhero with no memory of his past and a drinking problem to boot. While the first half of the film was highly acclaimed for its satirical take on superheroes and Will Smith's performance, it changed its tone in the second and failed to deliver on the promise that was set up. One controversy with films that did arise, of course, in the Greek case upon with movies, is the casting of black actors in traditionally white characters. Whether it be Michael Clark Duncan as Wilson Fisk in Daredevil on February 14, 2003, Idris Elba as Heimdall in Thor on May 2, 2011, or Zendaya as MJ in Spider-Man Homecoming on July 7, 2017, though her character would later be revealed to Michelle, not Mary Jane. While some complained this was a case of social justice and that Hollywood would never cast a white actor to play a black character, it should be pointed out, as this episode hopefully has, that the point of many, if not all, black comic book characters is that their main feature of identity is their race. Simply put, characters like Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, and Blade were created to be black comic book characters, so to have a different race play them would significantly change and be a disservice to that character. Unlike when Duncan played Kingpin, or Vaughn DeCuris Hall played Ben Urich in the first season of Daredevil in 2015. Plus, many creators, most notably Stan Lee, has expressed openness to the recasting, pointing out that if he had created these characters today, they would have been more culturally and racially diverse to reflect the times. Should be noted that Flash Thompson is also played by actor Tony Revolori of Guatemalan descent in Spider-Man Homecoming. However, it should be noted it gets more complicated with superheroes who do have black counterparts, such as Captain America with Justice or Spider-Man with Miles Morales. At one point, Will Smith was rumored to be up for the Captain America role for 2011, while Donald Glover also actively campaigned for the role of Spider-Man, with Stan Lee's approval. However, with the invention of Isaiah Bradley and Miles Morales, casting black actors in the roles of Steve Rogers and Peter Parker would negate the powers of those characters. Donald Glover did get cast in Spider-Man Homecoming as Aaron Davis, who comic book fans know as the Prowler and is the uncle of Miles Morales, who is set to be voiced by, and that character is also set to be voiced by Mahershala Ali in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the upcoming Miles Morales vehicle. As you can see, the history of black characters in comic books has been a complicated and often controversial one, just as it has been in real-life history. Nevertheless, they have progressed through the years, evolving from racist sidekicks to full-on superheroes and team leaders in their own right. Hopefully the medium, like history, which has progressed from a segregated society to one that elected a black president in 2008, will continue to progress that way as well. I would like to note that my main source for these last two episodes was Super Black, American Pop Culture and Black Superheroes by Adolfo Nama. A more critical study of the history of black superheroes and comic book characters is still a great read for anyone interested in how they've been viewed throughout the years and comparisons of many of those I mentioned. Thank you, and go out and enjoy the comic book. Hello, it is September 27, 2018. Now it's time for some reviews. First up, of course, is Amazing Spider-Man number 6, my favorite comic book of the week, by Nick Spencer and Humberto Ramos, which finds Spider-Man having to deal with his roommate situation, that being his roommate is the supervillain Boomerang. However, he ends up being roped into a crazy trivia night at an all-villains bar, and the fun starts from there. Spencer has fun dealing with Peter's personal problems and balancing with Boomerang, and in a strange coincidence finds out he might be able to become friends with this guy. While Ramos' art is nicely cartoony, especially of all things turning a trivia night at the bar into just a hilarious event. Fun read that also ties in with the larger aspect of the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, being the mayor of New York, and how that has large consequences for all the New York heroes, not just Daredevil, but also Spider-Man. Also, I just completed Volume 3 of Valerian the Complete Collection by Pierre Christin and John Colmazeres, which is the classic comic book that was the inspiration for last year's Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets by Luc Besson. This is a classic sci-fi comic book starring Valerian and his erstwhile partner Laureline as they venture throughout time and space, righting wrongs and so forth. This volume also contains The Ambassador of Shadows, which was the story that served as the basis for the Luc Besson movie, which, let's be honest, not that good. This mainly because of the miscast leads, but very visually stunning as most Besson's movies usually are. However, this book is fun to read. It's a bit dated and cartoony, but nevertheless pick it up because it's a great example of a classic French comic book and a sci-fi story that was sort of a great example for following movies. And with that, we will be moving on next week with also the fact it's going to be October, the month of Halloween. So I figured what better stories to tell than the history of EC Comics, one of the comic company that set the standard for the genre of horror comic books. With that, go out, have a good day. Thanks for listening, and go on and enjoy yourself a good comic book.